This episode of Area Code Batavia is brought to you by Bulldog Plumbing Incorporated. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website in the show notes or give them a call at 630-313-9109. Hey everybody, this is Area Code Batavia, a podcast about what it means to belong in Batavia, Illinois. I'm your host, Richard Clark. Today on the podcast, I have a conversation with Scott Beltran. He is the owner and head chef of Daddio's. It's part of a long lineage of diners. The reality is, that location has been a Batavia staple for decades. There have been multiple other diners that have come before. Daddio's is just the latest in that long lineage. So naturally, I wanted to talk to Scott about how it feels to continue that tradition and to start his own traditions. One of those traditions is Pay It Forward, which is a little initiative they have where you can walk in and buy a gift card for someone else, put it on a bulletin board, and then anyone who needs a meal or is having a bad day or whatever can just take one of those cards and use it to pay. That sort of neighbor helping neighbor thing is something that I've found characterizes Batavia and also represents something that Scott really embraces, which is that it's hard to thrive without the help of your community and the help of those around you. So in this conversation, I talked to Scott, not just about the people that he and Daddio's are helping, but the people who helped and continue to help him accomplish his dream of owning a diner in Batavia. Here's my conversation with Daddio himself, Scott Beltran. You do a lot of specials. And who comes up with the names for your specials?
I got to admit, I'm the horse. I'm the one back here doing the food.
Yeah.
But my wife comes up with these cool names and ideas, and on a weekly basis. And her and my daughters, who both worked here, all help out.
Yeah.
In one way or another, the names like here, for instance, No Way Jose. Everyone says, yeah, No Way Jose, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm driving along, and she goes, "Hey Scott, why don't you come up with?" I go, "I'm driving, honey. Why don't you come up with something with No Way Jose?" And I'm like, "I gotta go." Bye. Click. So then I get the idea, and I call her back, and I say, "Hey, Tara, I got the idea." She's like, "What? I'm driving. Be alone. I'm driving." So I go, "No, we're gonna do like a breakfast toast just off the wall. I'm gonna jack up the beans with chipotle beans and bacon and make it just." I go, "You know how you go to these restaurants? And yeah, you love the beans, but there's no flavor to them. Yeah. So I'm going to jack them up and then put that on the bottom and have two platforms of tostadas with creamy and hot and sweet and luscious breakfast, and decorate it with pico de gallo and black beans and have salsa on the side and the lime popping out and just go, No Way Jose." So that's where that came from.
So the names come first before the meal.
A lot of times, yeah. Or we'll just be, it's a lot of her though. 50 Soul, 50 Songs. What is that one? There was a breakfast, quesadillas. Wake Up Little Susie. I mean, so now over the years, this stuff just keeps building and people, "Why don't you put that on the menu?" And this and that. And then we got Locomotion. So it's a 50 song. We just do it around stuff like that. And then that's another, it's a Spanish dish, but it's just a big conglomerate of all scrambled together. It's a mash.
Yeah.
But it's got a Mexican flair to it. Yeah. Locomotion. Why don't you put that on the menu? So now I got a million things on the menu and it's like no turning back.
That's cool. Can you describe the place we're sitting in right now, just for the listeners?
Okay, so if you're going to take a plume, like a carpenter's plume, and you want to find out where the dead center of Batavia is, you spin that thing around and it's going to end up right above this room.
Really?
The reason I say that is because all these years, we're the fourth owners, we're the fourth stewards of the diner. The city owns it. Basically, it's their diner, and we're just running it.
Yeah.
And it's been that way forever. Mayor comes here, police people come here, fire department comes here, everybody comes here. I mean, we used to have a contract with the snowplow. I mean, it's just, it's the city.
Yeah.
It's the city. The regulars keep coming back and keep supporting. So basically, the town owns this place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just along for the ride.
It's a mainstay.
Yeah.
You look around and there's a lot of memorabilia on the walls.
Again, my wife's doing, she collects things and she sells things and she makes things and she's just really talented. And she came up with that. And my daughter drew this stuff on the wall and she help paint it, and they put the decorations together. The kitsch, as it's called, kitsch.
Yeah, the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool, and some people are just they're adding to it. So
It's the kind of thing you can build on for a long time.
A guy owns a car that size, that white Thunderbird up there. He's a regular.
Nice.
Comes in here and he drives it into here with that
cool.
car.
Yeah.
So he gave that to me. I mean, just stories behind the stuff. A lot of them were given to us. Some were, only 2 or 3 items were here when we bought the place. But that windmill, Batavia Challenge.
Oh yeah.
That was made in the factory across the street. We can see the smokestack saying Challenge, which is like City of Energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The windmill capital of the world.
Yep.
And that was actually made here. It's numbered, it's stamped, it's valued at some crazy number, $400 or something like that for a little piece of tin.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was here, so we kept it up. Bowling pin from the old bowling alley. I don't know where that went, but the bowling alley got bowled over. It was right down the block here, the old bowling alley. I bowled in there once, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of memories of people from the caboose that used to run the museum over there gave me a bunch of stuff from the past, booklets and stuff. And it was just really interesting, the history. Yeah. There's a bridge out there. There was a second bridge. Did you know that? There's literally a long bridge right here in front of McDonald's and Walgreens. Okay. That's called the Island. So I've been learning all this history too. Yeah. Over my time here. And they buried it in and they put a pipe under there and let some of the water flow through. But it's just incredible, all the stuff that McDonald's and Walgreens are on piers. They're literally bedrock down there, and they're built on piers. So they're interesting. They're docks.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What does this place mean to you?
It's where I came full circle. I've been doing this since I was 12, and I started out in a little place like this. A couple of them. I actually worked in over 30 restaurants. In my time. But
when you were 12, were you working for family or just?
No, it was a place down in the town where we used in Mount Prospect. I grew up in Prospect Heights. Okay. There was this little place called Our Place Pizza, and I went in there and I asked for a summer job, and I was just amazed at where they kept the dough and the cheese and all this stuff. It was like in rolling garbage cans, and I was like, what? Yeah. But it was clean. Obviously, it's clean and healthy, but it was just amazed me. Then another job I got was working at Bill's Buffalo House in Buffalo Grove with. That's where I learned from a chef, and a real chef. I was there with a friend, and we were in Boy Scouts, and we were always cooking in Boy Scouts. But on the weekends, I'd be cooking up at the Buffalo House, fish fries. We would do prime rib, steaks to order, ribs, you name it. We did it all, stuffed flounder, knew how to fillet a sole. It was crazy. I was like 15, 14, 16, somewhere around there. Yeah. And what turned me on to that when I was there was a guy came in the kitchen and goes, hey, where's the chef? And I came around the corner and I could barely see over the shelf. And I said, yeah, I'm the chef. And he goes, what? He goes, that was amazing. Handed me a 20 spot. And this is back in the 70s, late 70s. And I thought that was pretty cool. So that's what kind of pulled me along. Like, wow, you can make money at this. Yeah. So I just always loved it. My dad cooked and I would always help him out. And then, like I said, I was in the Boy Scouts. And we would go on these camp jamborees or camporamas or whatever. And we would literally make fires, altars, lashed it out, put sod on it, and made above ground fires. We would bury ovens and cook muffins, blueberry muffins underground in Dutch ovens. And it just got turned down a bunch of ways of cooking, and it just always attracted me.
Your dad cooked at home?
Yeah, at home. He was not a professional chef or anything like that. Yeah. But I just always was drawn to the stove when he was there, and we'd start and watched him and learned a little bit from him and carried on.
Did you ever not work in a restaurant?
Yeah, I worked for Jewel Corporation. I worked for the state of Illinois in collections for student loans. That was crazy because the people with money don't pay their loans, and the blue collars are making their payments. You know what's funny? I was with, where else? Montgomery Ward's, ran her shopping mall back in the 70s. There was only 3 or 4 jobs where I wasn't in food somehow.
So was that a period where you were thinking about not doing that, or was it just sort of in between? Yeah,
it was just in between things, I would go to these places and learn what I could learn. It was school, hard knocks. And then once I learned it, I'm like, all right, moving on to the next thing because I want to learn as much as I can. And that was in my head. Yep. That's the way I'm going to do it. I don't come from money. I'm going to learn what I can from wherever I can. So I took bits and pieces with me all along and shared in hotels. I was with Lettuce, I was with TGI Fridays Corporation. I was with Benihana's too, up in Half Day, Illinois. I mean, it just goes on and on. All these golf courses. I just would learn what I could and move on. But I was managing some places. But my longest tenure was up at Kemper Lakes Golf Club. I was there for 22 years.
Wow.
And during the Illinois PGA, 1989 PGA, when Payne Stewart won that one, we were there for the whole week. Like, we just got a camper and we hung out in the camper, and because we had to be there so early in the morning. So it was like, you got 3-4 hours of sleep back on. And I had shifts going all night. And then WLS, their TV with Tim Weigel Sports. Remember Tim Weigel? Yeah, he was a sports announcer for Channel 7. But they had the whole compound. I had to do that. The grandstand, all the corporate tents, $100,000 corporate tents. It was crazy.
What was your favorite place that you worked, other than Daddio's?
I would have to say Kemper Lakes because of the sports figures.
Yeah.
I actually went in there, and Stan Mikita was the pro out of Kemper for a year or so. And then that's when I took the job on, and I worked for Stan Mikita. And how cool is that? I mean, I actually, 10 years before I got that job, I actually carried his bags and Cliff Corals over at a Rolling Green Country Club in Mount Prospect. And I was double bagging. I must have been 4 feet tall. Mm-hmm. And I'm carrying 2 bags for these guys that I ended up like Cliff Coral and Stan Mikita. I ended up working for him. And then he got out. I was there for 22 years, and it was a good run. I hung out with Jordan. Michael would walk in and make him a cheeseburger. He always loved cheeseburgers. There's so many celebrities hanging out with Pat Foley, golfing with the 85 Bears, the Super Bowl champs, would hang out and they'd do a round. And I'd go out and play with them too. So that was a fun time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When did you come to Batavia?
Me and my wife were married. We were in Elmwood Park, and we'd gravitate out to this area. We'd go to Pheasant Run all the time for like a splash bash weekend. I could take long periods of time off, but I would take a weekend here and there, and we'd just get a little getaways. And we noticed the area, and her brother lived out there, out west of St. Charles there, and go visit him. And we're like, really, really like this area. So we were in Elmwood Park for like 10 years, and great existence there, and our kids were raised there. And then she was sitting in a model home. It calls me, and I met her out there, and we bought a house out in St. Charles. So that's how we got here. And then my daughters went through the school systems, and they loved it, and they thrived. And we would come down here, and as like places to go on the weekends and stuff like that. And this Kathy owned it before us, and I kept tugging on her apron string saying, one day when you're ready to go, let me know, because I'm the next in line here. Yeah. And sure enough, she did it, and it happened.
Was it called Daddio's?
It was called Kathy's Diner. So,
Kathy's Diner.
Yeah. So at first, it was owned by the Anderson family, which does, what's the name of it? They're still in St. Charles. They own syrup, but it's called something else. I'm drawing a break. Colonial.
Oh, yes, Colonial Cafe.
Colonial was the first entity here. They bought it. It was just a malt shop. I guess they had hamburgers or maybe hot dogs and ice cream. So that's what it started. It was a little different configuration, but not much. Yeah. A lot of this is still original stuff.
It's interesting that it was 2 different diners before it was this diner.
3
different diners before this diner. So this is the 4th.
Yeah, so it's always been a diner. It's been a mainstay down here since 1961. So it's as old as me. It was born in 61. That's cool. I believe.
Yeah. But your family calls you Daddio? Is that where the name came from?
My youngest daughter would call me Daddio, yes. Okay. And we actually changing the name. We were here. We kept it as Kathy's because it was successful, and we wanted to keep that coming. So we kept it for about a year or so. And then we had a contest that then of all these names, the Windmill Grill, and customers would enter their saying on what they thought it would be called, Yeah. And so my daughter won. That's awesome. It's a little biased, I guess. Yeah. But she used to call me Daddio. So,
what was the first time you ever felt like you belonged in Batavia?
I can't get out.
The moment you felt trapped. Yeah.
Maybe I get out in 2 years for good behavior. No, this is just a great town. It's the people. That's what I know. You don't see that in all the towns.
Yeah.
This is good. The Tri-Cities are incredible. But here, it's a little different because people look out for each other. Was there a moment like back when you started this diner that you felt that? Yeah, it was pretty much right in the beginning. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed it then. I noticed it for the past owner. That's kind of why we took interest in it, because the people keep coming back and they loved it. And they're like consciously supporting. Yeah. And then during troubled times, they went overboard to keep us around. Right. Like gifting us to stay on board. So there was a lot of customers that actually just gave us some cash just to get through that hard time of the closure when they closed it down for 2.5 months or whatever it was.
When was that? Oh, the pandemic.
The pandemic, yeah, it was brutal. So, I mean, we made it through the bridge closing. We made it through.
I talked to the creamery. I had an episode with the creamery, and they talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was
hard time.
Right there. He was at the epicenter. This road, Wilson, was closed twice, like during Obama's first and second term.
Okay.
And then they rebuilt it because they put water in there to feed the plants.
And that was that's essential.
Oh, you close the front of the place, down for a while.
I don't think people think a lot about how big of a deal that is.
People knew about the back entrance.
Yeah.
So they made a conscious effort of going to the back and getting in here, and it still supported us.
Yeah.
And even during the first thing was the bridge. Then they would go all the way down to Fabian and come over and swing by and come on in. But all through all these things, and then the Walgreens moved away from right next door.
Yeah.
Tore down the hardware store that was right there. And then the whole place was just a mess for 2.5, 3 years.
Man. Yeah.
Just all ripped up. People still came. And they kept coming. So yeah, we're stewards.
Yeah.
Stewards of the diner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Today's episode of Area Code Batavia is brought to you by Bulldog Plumbing. I don't know if you knew this, but Batavia has what is considered to be hard water. As a result, a lot of Batavia residents have a water softener installed in their house to solve some of the problems that come with hard water. We got a water softener soon after we moved into the house because we started noticing that there was a lot of buildup from the hard water. It was messing with our appliances. Our coffee maker started having weird flakes in it. It was strange. So we had to get that taken care of with a water softener. If you've had a water softener for more than 5 years, it's probably time for a tune-up. Bulldog Plumbing's offering a special $80 water softener tune-up that includes water testing and system optimization. So if you need a water softener tune-up or any other services, call Bulldog Plumbing at 630-313-9109 or click the link in the show notes. That's Bulldog Plumbing. Reliable, honest, local.
Can you describe the moment you decided to start Daddio's?
Me and my wife, we just thought of the opportunity because we always wanted a diner, period. And the opportunity came along.
So it'd been a dream for yours for a while.
Yeah, I was up at Eagle Brook Country Club. I was the executive chef there before we bought it. So I was there for 2 years. And that whole entire time we were working on getting this plan. So yeah, it was a work. And then she finally came through and sold it to us. And whoa, reality snapped in. Because this is...
What's reality? What does that mean?
When I say that, I say failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. I can't just walk away like a lot of people do their jobs. Hey, I had enough. See ya. There's no walking away. You got to hang in tough and put your best foot forward every day. You're the front man, and I know a lot of these people's names by heart, and I think they think that's pretty cool. You address people by their names when they walk in the door and you take care of them, a little bit about them.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that you say that. You can't walk away because objectively you could. I mean, you could totally walk away.
Oh, just close it and see ya. I suppose, but where would that get me?
What do you mean by that when you say you can't walk away? What's different about owning a place?
Just working for someone and then working for yourself.
Yes.
That's the entire difference right there.
Which is is it that it reflects badly on you or something? Is that the idea?
In a way, but more so it's just, how do you do that? How do you do that?
Why would you want to?
Why would you? Yeah, I mean, I'm over at wherever, some retail store, things get a little tough or whatever.
Yeah.
You just, had enough, see you, bye.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You just can't do that.
Right.
You can't just...
You got to plan.
Yeah,
you got
to plan it out, yeah. Yeah, I kid people about that. I'd say that, I got 2 more years for good behavior. Then I can get done. No, it's been a good run. As hard as it's been, as brutal as it's been a good run.
I was struck by how reliant this place must be on you because I feel like you closed for like a week, right? Because you had like a broken ankle or something?
Oh, no.
Did that
I didn't
happen?
close. We never closed.
We were closed.
Never closed.
Okay.
And, Pritzker, he made us close for 2 months. That was
really
the only closure.
Okay.
And the whole time I was just
pandemic,
freaking out. I'm like, oh, now what do I do?
Yes.
I got to do something. I was on the computer, like trying to figure out another way to make some more money to maintain.
Yep.
Period. Instead of just drowned.
Yeah.
There's not an option.
Failure is not an option. And you also have people sort of counting on you. You have employees and stuff like that.
I got employees, that were there. And actually, I drained my whole 401 plan that I've been corporate saving all my entire career. And that dissolved really fast just to keep them afloat too as well. So, and the bills and the food and this and that. So when
a lot of pressure.
When we did close, yeah, that hurt. That hurt huge. I mean, I haven't recovered from it yet. So me and my wife are just still plunking away. We're trying to get it going. A lot of people do love this place, and they have feelings about it.
Is it rewarding to you? Yeah.
It is. Yes, it is. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't have this conversation. It's just difficult because, like, you can't get ahead. Something breaks, and my daughter gave me a bunch of money to redo the floor that's ancient and it hasn't been done since I've been here. And all of a sudden, the freezer broke, and the money she gave me personally just went right to the freezer because keeping food fresh and wholesome, or somebody stepping on tile. So you have to make these decisions and what's more important.
How do you feel about receiving help? You get a lot of help from your family. You've talked about the community supporting you. I know a lot of people, especially in the Midwest, struggle with that. They accepting help.
Help?
Yeah.
Oh no, and we're out help. We're giving too. She came up with this program,
the Pay It Forward
program. Come on, no, it's insane for the small place entity this is.
Yep.
How giving back that is, and that's from the community. And it's community giving to the community, but it works. There's a Batavia Access program that finds people in need, desire need. A father got sick, the house burned, or whatever. Yeah. And this person named Joey Spitz runs that, and she's incredible. She's an angel, and she finds out and says, "Scott, hey, I got a family of 4. They're really struggling. They want something." So then that's what a lot of that has gone to.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. So, we've done other things with the spaghetti fundraiser, like the first year, and it was so huge. It raised like $20,000 for this girl.
Wow.
She needed a wheelchair to get around. We had a spaghetti dinner, and we totally ran out of product like fast. There was a line going through this whole parking lot, stopping at the door, and just people giving and saying, don't worry about it. It was really cool. Allie was her name. And she stuff like that. Then we do the schools. We have a school week because we're so small instead of doing one night. And then also the perk to that is the school, wherever it is in town, hey, they're doing the whole week. So if Jody has something going on, like she's got ballet or something, she can't make it on Thursday when everyone else is there.
Yes.
Well, sorry, you can come here to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Totally.
And then we'll apply it to that. So we do a lot of that local, the schools, and call it Daddio's Week.
It's this really nice reciprocal relationship, it feels like, between you and the community and your family too, right?
Yeah, they've all give. My daughter, both of them are so incredible. They're talented, and the older one has done all our graphics since day one. She designed these menus. She knows about how to actually develop, the site.
The website?
The website. She can construct a website from scratch, not like template where you just enter information. So she actually built our website. She would do all our posters and this and that, and upcoming events and specials and the menus, and she redoes them and stuff like that too. Yeah. And that's test. And she worked here during high school and college to try to help out through college and pay some bills too. And then the other one, Christy, is still working here. She started when she was 9. Yeah, she had her on my desk. She has her own drawer, and she would keep her stuff in there. And she would help me with. She's very intelligent. She would help me with payroll and stuff like that at age 9.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they all graduated at St. Charles East with the honors. They took all the hard classes and they passed it and did great. And then went on to Loyola University. She got her master's there, and she's been doing all of our cyber work. Our
social media.
Social media, exactly, yeah. And she's amazing at that. She does all the postings, and she gets the information out there, and she's just tireless. She keeps on doing it for us too. And I guess she did it for Loyola. She was there.
Oh, right.
Person.
She did.
Yeah, she did it at school during her master's time. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm very fortunate, but my wife is the one that comes up with these ideas, like the marketing schemes, and she was going to tag along with what was that movie? There's a poster right there, Breakfast Club.
Oh, okay.
They're coming to Chicago this weekend, or they were last weekend, or something like that. They're getting another get together, and it's supposed to be like hyped up again and revisited. Yeah. And then she wanted to tag along with it and do a Breakfast Club, weekend here. We also cross-brand, or not cross-brand, but you call it cross-promote with this guy, Kiss the Sky, which is a record store right around the corner.
Yeah.
Steve Warrensfeld, he's amazing. He's just a great guy.
Yeah.
And then we do biz weekends. Like, we'll put specials named after the businesses around town, and they help us out that way too.
I love that you just have this support system of your community, but also your family. And it sort of all revolves around you and the food that you make.
Yeah, it is amazing. The food, I just serve what I love. I don't mean that's how it came up with it. So
I love that you're sort of situated in that you can just focus on that. You can just sort of focus on making the food and coming up with
it's hard,
ideas.
And day in and day out to come up with something, new and exciting.
Do you feel the pressure to come up with something new all the time?
I try to pressure myself and, create something like, hey, how come we don't have crepes here? So then I went out and I made crepes and I handmade them, and we did some stuff we do. I mean, catering, I tell people I have a basic list of the stuff that they can have, but I tease them. I go, the only thing I haven't cooked is whale, so whatever you want.
Whale?
Where do
you even get whale?
Crazy. So if they don't see it on the catering menu and there's something you want, we'll by all means do it.
Huh.
So,
That's cool. Did you ever sort of question in everything? Did you ever think, man, I don't know if I should have done this?
Oh, you always do that, right?
Huh.
Think how things could be better or regrets. I don't have regrets. I don't have the regrets, but
you don't have any regrets. People say that. I don't understand it. I have tons of regrets. It's just a reframing thing. I wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't made mistakes.
Yeah, no, I mean, be richer, have more cash? What is it?
Yeah.
Where does it begin? Where does it end? I mean,
totally.
What's your happiness?
You feel what you're saying is you're pretty content and happy with the way things are right now.
No, I wish it was a little spiked up a little more like it used to be.
Yeah.
Back before the pandemic. Yep. Things were a lot better. I'll tell you that right off the bat.
So it never really recovered since the pandemic?
Not for here, no.
Why is that?
The whole area is saturated with breakfast places now. So we didn't have that whole mall over there.
Before the pandemic?
Like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Nothing was over there. There was just less of everything around. There was empty boxes. I remember that being how people would call them.
This is more
box stores were empty.
Competition now,
There's
I guess.
a ton more. Yeah, it's everywhere you look. So that's harder, and they have people who have more choices, and then you got to be stronger and beef it up better and do more creation and
marketing and all of that.
But this place is only 35, and then that's it. You can pound it out, and so I try to captivate them from walking away with a cup of coffee. Hey, can I get you a cup of coffee? Here you go. Now they got something in their hand, and then they'll hang out for a few more minutes. So stuff like that. But we'll be opening the outside real soon here because it's beautiful out there now. Once that opens up, it doubles the size of the restaurant. So that doubles.
And probably people are more apt to eat here in general.
Yeah, well, we're dog friendly too. We cater to the canines.
That's big for us. We just got our dog in December.
People come down here and they hang out outside and they're chill. And
our dog needs to be a little more trained before we can pull that off.
Two leash dog.
Yeah, exactly. What has owning a business in Batavia taught you about yourself?
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
That's pretty simple.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do it. And then it's just like, how long can you do it? You can do it,
Yeah, well, that's interesting. That's attention, right? Okay, you can do it, but can you now?
No, it's funny. My son-in-law, my new son-in-law, the first thing he said to me when he walked in is, how come you don't have a dozen of these things?
How come it's not
I wish I had
out?
a dozen of these all
Totally.
over. But, yeah.
I love this place, and I'll tell you why. I come from the South, and my favorite place to eat was the Waffle House. I love the Waffle House. I don't know how you feel about Waffle House, but
totally with that. This is it.
Yeah, and it's so when I discovered this place, I was like, this is the place right here. This is this is the version of the Waffle House that we don't have here, and it's better.
Thank you. I was doing 5-star. I mean, that's where I met my wife.
Yeah,
we were out at this place called Rupert's, and the place just cranked. It was in the mid 80s. It was a steakhouse and ribs and all that stuff like that. And they had a nightclub and then a banquet hall and all this other stuff is out in Rolling Meadows. And that's where I met her. But that whole mentality of just do it right, do it the best you can, and enjoy it. So
in terms of, you learned about yourself that you can do it. You can pull it off, essentially.
As hard as it may be, yeah.
Yeah.
Are
you referring to running
everybody?
Everyone.
Anyone, not anyone can do it, but you can do it. And it's not just
it's doable.
It's things. It's just other businesses. If you got an idea and you want to go on it, go for it.
Did you have doubts about that before you started?
Oh, yeah. Being on your own. Yeah. That whole thing about failure's not an option. You got to win. You got to go out there and do it every day.
Yeah. I think I felt the
There's
opposite.
no layup.
When I started my business, I went into it going, I can do this. And then immediately, like you talked about, was hit with reality. And it was like, oh, can I do this? Every day I'm asking. It's almost like you feel that both ways.
Yeah.
What's been your biggest struggle through all of this?
Capital. Capital. Yeah. Yeah. No, filling the seats constantly. Yeah. That's the way, that's success. And then you could sit here Tuesday in the morning and you don't see any cars go by and there's nobody anywhere going. And then that gets scary after a little while because, okay, can't wait till the weekend. I need to be
ginning up business
all along, not just cranking it out on the weekends. That's a hard part of it. But I see it to the whole city. It's not like I'm the only one that doesn't have customers in front of them.
Yeah.
I see that around because I do. I go around and I like checking it out, make sure, yep, it's just quiet. So I think a lot of it is the economy or whatever. I can't always answer what's really going on out there. But
I appreciate you talking about that because I don't think everyone does. And it takes some transparency and some willingness to do it. But you're right. I mean, it does feel like it's happening kind of everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. How do business owners talk to each other about this? Like, what's the feeling around what can be done around it, especially when it's sort of localized in this way? Like we're talking about the Batavia community.
But nobody out there can pinpoint it to any one thing.
So a cause, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a perfect storm happening, it feels like. A lot of different factors.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And I just said to myself, all right, I got to rise to the top. I got to beef it up. I got to do better. I got to work harder. I got to
do better at what, though?
Just at what I do. So
just make better food
or
work harder in general.
Just make sure that my people are making these people happy.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, yeah. So I let my guard down. Things get a little dirty or something under their counter and people notice and they're like, hey, we haven't been in there because of that,
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I didn't see it because I didn't see you don't always see what, my major problem is. So we fix that and try to fix that and keep on it and just keep a good foot forward.
Yeah, you got to always be on top of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because you never know.
What is it about Daddio's that you think could only work in Batavia?
What do you mean?
So how do I ask it a different way? Is there something Daddio's does that couldn't work anywhere else? Or could it work everywhere else?
No, I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a difficult question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are you saying? Chain it? Like a chain? Like this could work elsewhere? Like this look?
I think I'm sort of getting at what is like uniquely Batavian about Daddio? You know what I mean? Or is there anything? There doesn't necessarily have to be anything, but...
I mean, or it's everything. It's everything about this place, that's unique.
The pay it forward thing feels like a good representation of like the Batavia vibe, mindset.
Again, my wife, she thinks of these things and it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was funny because I thought, whatever, all right, we'll give it a shot. I'm like, sitting, I'm at the register and this older gentleman comes walking through the door and he asks for a cup of coffee and I give it to him in a styrofoam, the lid, he opens up his wallet and there's nothing in it. I'm like, all right, this is right after she instilled the program. And it was pay it forward tabs on the board. And the guy goes, I go, hey, you're just in luck. I'm going to go over there. I peeled one off. It was $5 for the coffee. And I put it, you're all set, man. Have a great day. God bless. And then right behind him was my lawyer. He was standing there. And he goes, Scott, holy crap, this stuff was... So he saw firsthand. He slaps down a 20 and put 4 tickets up.
Man.
So,
that's cool.
So when people do it all the time, it's you got a little, give a little.
Yeah.
You need it, take it.
Yeah, I love that. What keeps you up at night? I feel like I know the answer. Sciatica. Yeah, makes sense.
Clopens. What are our clopens? I've been closing and opening, closing and opening, closing for the last 5 months because the attendance is down and the only thing I know how to control is labor.
Yeah.
Food costs with eggs being $140 a case when
less
they were
controllable.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working more.
Yeah. So working more is what's keeping you up at night.
Yeah.
You just have to be up at night.
And then I think about what needs to be done, and I go through the whole motions of the next day in my head, and I pre-live it.
Yeah. To you, what does it mean to belong in Batavia?
It's just not Norman Rockwell. It's just cool. People are cool. The people are cool down here. They're just no frills. It's just no like outlandish expectations. It's like the song goes, we're everyday people. I have a lot of people that I've met and I've lost too. And so that's hard over these years, and then, and that's the sad part about it, but got into
just
the
regulars.
That came and have left, So it's the sad part about it, but I know what it is. It is what it is. So I missed a lot of them.
When you say that you've lost them, are you I'm thinking
actually
of
passed away.
Passed away, yeah.
And I mean, we're not talking like 10 or 12. We're talking 50 people I've known that have gotten into their lives, knew about what's going on, and then have passed away. So that's a hard thing. But
I hadn't thought about that. That running a place like this, you get to know a lot of people.
The community vibe is just second to none. That's it in a nutshell, I'll tell you the truth, because there's really, we're just trying to make a living and doing what we do. Yeah. And it comes down to it, it's about the people that care about us enough to keep coming back and enjoying it and bring other people. And I hear someone saying, well, I was told to come here by so-and-so. And then I'm like, that's the biggest pretty, compliment. Someone's by voice, when you... Word of mouth. When you don't pay for advertising and someone says, word of mouth. I was told by John to get over here. He goes, this and that, and we were supposed to eat the breakfast panini. What's that about? I'm like, so I was told to have that. So,
you get that a lot, the word of mouth thing?
Word of mouth thing is and you only hear about it from... a couple here and there, but you start thinking about it, and the reality of it is maybe it's out there more than I have any idea.
I'm sure it is. I'm not a type of person who would say that out loud to people. I would just go and check it out. Yeah. But yes, it feels like...
for them to tell them to have certain things. Try that.
Yeah.
I had an allergic reaction, never had allergies to anything in my whole life. I was doing a statin, and it backfired on me. I got all these hives and stuff like that, and then I was going home. My daughter goes, Dad, what good? Something's going on. You got stuff on your neck and you're breaking out. And then we were having dinner, and then all of a sudden my tongue started swelling up. And I'm like, okay. My wife said, we're taking you to the hospital. So I'm like, we're not going there. So they took me to Mercy Hospital and I ended up in the emergency room there. Like right away, they looked at me and said, put me in. And while I'm in the ER, another doctor opens up the thing and goes, hey, you can't die. You got the best damn cinnamon swirled French toast. And then we all busted out laughing. Yeah. In a serious moment where they're about to intubate me.
Yeah. It is funny, like the belonging comes from the mainstay of it all. Like the fact that people sort of depend on you, not really to feed them. They could eat anywhere, but they count on certain things existing. The cinnamon roll or whatever, the panini.
Or they've been coming here since they were in the carriers. Yeah. Literally baby carriers. Yeah. And then they grow up and they're college and they're graduating college, and I've already seen that. Yeah. So, and then, oh no, we had to come back. We come back here because we had to be back here. We have to make our trip back here. So
this idea that this not being here would be a true like personal loss for people.
In a way,
really
I think they think that. Yeah.
That's got to feel a little bit good,
Once we get through, Yeah. It is. I'm not a back patter. I'm not ever get a big head or pat myself on the back or anything like that. But people say that, and it's cool when they do. They acknowledge that, and they said, well, no, we're here because we came here 12 years ago, and you sang happy birthday to me. I was 4 years old. It was so cool. Stuff like that. I didn't even think about it, until they revisited it.
That's awesome. For listening to Area Code Batavia. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. If you enjoyed this podcast, you should absolutely subscribe to the newsletter. Just click the link in the show notes. Most importantly, if you know someone who would love to hear this podcast, please share it with them. Word of mouth is the best way to grow our community and help more people feel like they belong in Batavia, Illinois. Area Code Batavia is produced by Area Code Audio. It's hosted and produced by me, Richard Clark, with additional production help from Jennifer Clark. Edited and mixed by Matt Linder.